Yamadharma, Yamadharman. Yaman is considered the god of death. Yama is also called as Dharma or Yamadharma, god of justice, maintaining order and adherence to harmony. He is said to be wisest of all gods. His other names are Mrityu, death, and Kala, time. Shiva is called Mahakala, greater time. If its letters are transposed, Kala will be Laka or Lakan, which means rains. Yama is the controller and Shiva is the controller in chief. As per Vedic texts, Brahma Purana, Yama was the first mortal to die and be born again, and because of that, he became the ruler of the dead. Yama's name can be interpreted to mean twin, and he is the brother of Yami or Yamuna. He is the son of Surya, the sun god. Yama's vehicle is the water buffalo. Its color is green or red. He holds a rope or noose which he uses to pluck souls from the dead people. He reports to Shiva, medically known as Mesodam, the destroyer, as well as creator, one of the Trinity gods. He is also subordinate to Vishnu, medically known as Endoderm, another Trinity god. He is said to be the father of Yudhishthira, eldest brother of Pandavas as per the Mahabharata. Some believe that Yudhishthira is reincarnation of Yama. Yama, Dharma, Yamadharma, Mrityu, Kala is none other than the human heart, Manida Irudayam, in human anatomy. The human embryonic heart begins beating 5 weeks after the last menstrual period or conception, and this process is interpreted as the first mortal to be born. Yama's name is related to twin, referring to the two endocardial tubes which form the human heart. The cardiogenic region is formed in the neural plate, and two tubes in this region form and fuse together to create a primitive tubular heart. This fusion of the two tubes is medically called programmed cell death. Hence, Yama, representing the human heart, is known as the first mortal to die. The tubular heart develops into full-fledged heart. Thus, Yama rises from death. Yama also relates to his twin sister, Yamuna or Yami, which is a river, referring to Yama's relationship with liquid blood. Yama is called Kala, which means time. This refers to the heart rate or pulse rate measured as beat per minute, BPM. There is a specification for the heartbeat which identifies the health of the heart in relation to the age or nature of human being. Yama being Kala, time or pulse, is related to Shiva, called Mahakala, the personification of human blood in circulation. Red blood cells in a fetus are first produced in the liver and thereafter in the bone marrow. The liver is related to Vishnu and the bone marrow is related to Shiva, Mesodam. Thus, Yama is the primary servant of Shiva and the secondary servant of Vishnu, Endoderm. Cardiac muscles are made from cardiac myocyte cells. The coordinated contractions of these cells in the heart propel blood into blood vessels of the circulatory system and maintain the function of the body. These cells are highly adaptable for high resistance to fatigue. If the letters of Yama are transposed, they become B, Maya, perhaps referring to myocytes. These muscles are also equated to either the muscles or the skin of a buffalo, which becomes Yama's vehicle. Ishara refers to human blood bondage, and is another name for Shiva Iswar. The heart pumps blood into circulation. Hence, Yama is subservient to Shiva. Since Mrityu is closely related to death and blood, it also finds a place in Manusmriti, which is read to be as Manusmriti, human plus blood. Manusmriti and Dharma Shastras talks about the colors of Varnas of society. Brahmanas, white blood cells; Kshatriyas, red blood cells; Vaishyas, plasma yellow; Sudras, deoxygenated blood, black or blue, which are the colors or type of blood cells. Generally, the word dharma is used to describe the righteousness of a person, but it is referring to the purity of blood or healthier blood circulation. Any bearing or stigma on this purity or health will affect the balance of the human being. This situation has been interpolated to society. The human heart specifically refers to Yama's vehicle, water buffalo, which is thick-skinned, meaning the toughness of the heart walls or muscle. Mesoderm, Shiva, and endoderm, Vishnu, give rise to the tissues of the human heart. True to their name, water buffaloes always congregate in a water source. Liquid, blood is also a liquid. Yama is also known as Bhairavar, and his vehicle is a dog. A dog is well known for the constant movement of its stomach and its outstretched vibrating tongue, which is very visible, much like the heart. Bhairavar or Veerabhadra, hormones in blood, is sent by Shiva to destroy the yagna of Daksha when his wife, Parvati, as Dakshini, self-immolated, not able to bear her father insulting Shiva. The Puranas mention that the abode of Yama is guarded by two large-nosed dogs with four legs. This may refer to the structure of the heart. Large nose may refer to the aorta and vena cava. Four legs may refer to the chambers of heart. Right and left atrium, right and left ventricle. Yama is compared to the Greek deity Hades and Pluto. He is also compared to Anubis, Egyptian god of embalming, who has the head of a jackal. Amit, who is the companion of Anubis, has the rump of a hippopotamus, which resembles a water buffalo, known for the toughness of its skin. Dog and jackal are of the same species, brought in to show their vibrating stomachs and equating it to heart movement. Since it is from Greek mythology, the animals are of Greek origin, whereas Hindustan has mentioned its domestic animals. Goodness or righteousness in any person is said to come from his or her heart. Hence, it is called Dharma. Yama's noose refers to the blood vessels connecting every part of the human body, and they are closely connected to the death of a person. If blood is not supplied to a particular part of the human body, either it dies or is inactivated. Many human deaths are due to blood and heart, like blood pressure, heart attack, blood clot, blood vessel damage, etc. Any toxin going into the body is transported through the blood vessels and poisons the blood and heart. Why are the colors red and green associated with Yama? Blood typically looks red in regular light because it absorbs most colors while reflecting red. Yet, if a filter interrupts this reflection, the color alters. The skin acts as a natural filter for blood. So, instead of appearing red, it can take on a greenish hue. Yama is also subservient to Vishnu, who is the personification of the human digestive and endocrine systems. Why this dual subordination? This dual subordination happens because of the existence of certain unique functions within the human body. One such function is the secretion of hormones from the glands of the endocrine system that are pumped into the blood for circulation so that the receptors can get hold of the hormonal signals. Vishnu is the controller of these hormones as part of the endocrine system. Yama's mother is Sandhya, daughter of Vishwakarma, who is an architect to the gods. Yama is the brother of Srada Deva and the stepbrother of Shani, Saturn. Sra means head. Originally, the human heart develops near the head of the fetus and slowly it moves to its correct position. Shani or Saturn refers to the genitals, testicles. Blood flows into the testicles when sexually aroused. There is a plant known as Punarnava or Sanadika, Boharvia diffusa, Linn. Sandhya or Sanadika or Sandika resembles same. The Puranas have brought in this name very appropriately in the stories relating to Yama, human heart. This plant is abundantly available all over India during the rainy season. There are two kinds, one with white flowers called Shvetapurna and the other with different colored flowers called Raktapurna. There is a third variety with blue flowers. These flowers are found to contain large quantities of potassium nitrate, which can affect human beings if the chemical is breathed in. It irritates the nose and throat, causing sneezing and coughing. High levels of potassium nitrate can interfere with the ability of the blood to carry oxygen, causing headaches, fatigue, dizziness, and a blue color to the skin and lips. The Puranas mention that Yagna gives preferential treatment and shows leniency towards worshippers of Vishnu while taking them to Naraka, hell. What does this mean? There exists a blood circulation function called portal blood circulation in the human body. It refers to the circulation of blood from the intestines to the liver through the portal vein. It is said that the blood flow to the liver is unique since it receives both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. The blood flowing into the liver is filtered first to remove toxic substances and then allowed to go into the main blood circulation through the heart. Vishnu represents the human liver. These are the reasons why Yama shows special preferential treatment and leniency to worshippers of Vishnu. Yama, heart and its main circulation, cannot take the people who are worshippers. Blood flow through the digestive systems and liver of Vishnu directly to Naraka, hell. Naraka, hell, refers to human lungs, where gas exchange takes place to remove blood impurities. Thus, blood purification is done at two places, the liver and the lungs. Yamadharma is the son of Surya, the sun god. Anatomically, Surya represents the human eye and the sperm eye or sperm head, which contains the nucleus. The first organ to function in a fetus is the heart that develops from this nucleus. Hence, he is known as the son of Surya, not literally the son of sun. The human eye and Surya are discussed under the chapter Surya. Human sperm relate to the masculine gender and is called Surya Vamsa or Raghu Vamsa. Feminine gender is called Chandra Vamsa. The story of Satyavan Savitri is a very important episode in the life of Yama. Savitri is said to have brought back the life of her husband, Satyavan, from Yama, death. It is one of the rarest things to happen in life. Yama is meant to take away life and not restore it under any circumstances. The Satyavan Savitri story is meant to explain fetal blood circulation. Varka or Varka in Su plus Varka, heaven, means human race. This human race survives due to birth, even though a lot of death happens. Birth is at the center of fetal blood circulation. Blood circulation in the fetus happens inside the womb of the mother. Satyavan must be read as Satyavana, implanted forest on the walls of the uterus. The word Satya is also found in Satya Yuga, one of the 4 yugas mentioned in the Puranas. Satya Yuga must always be Satya Yuga, which is related to the fetal period from the time of fertilization to the delivery of a child. Yuga means and refers to a particular stage in developmental biology. Under normal circulation, blood moves into the lungs through the heart and is purified. But in fetal circulation, blood is not purified in the lungs of a fetus but at the placenta. Lungs will activate in a fetus only when the baby is born with a loud cry by the baby. Satyavan, representing deoxygenated blood cells, will not be taken by Yama, heart, into Naraka, lungs in a fetus. Thus, Savitri, placenta and umbilical cord, saves her husband from Yama. Vedic texts have constructed or created many Puranic stories to explain the functions of the heart and its related blood vessels. One such story relates to Yama's daughter, Sunita. Once, Sunita tried to disturb the meditation of a Gandharva, singer of heaven, named Sushanka. He has cursed Sunita that she would beget a son who will be exceedingly evil. She reported this incident to Yama. Yama advised his daughter to do tapasya, meditation, to mitigate the effects of the curse. She accepted his advice. Meanwhile, Anga, son of sage Atri, one of the 7 Saptarishis created by Brahma, was doing tapasya to get a son as powerful as Indra, god of Devas. Well-wishers brought Anga and Sunita together and they fell in love with each other. Anga and Sunita married and had a son called Vina. Vina was learned and righteous. He became the king after his father and ruled his kingdom well. The earlier curse of evil by sage Shushanka, Su plus Sanka, meeting point, or Sush plus Anga, body, did not crop up until a religious teacher visited Vina. The teacher completely brainwashed Vina and made him follow a new religion which he had never heard of. No religion was in existence about 5000 years ago, and this is proof that the Puranas were reconstructed later and the texts were distorted. Vina became evil and deviated from the righteous path. Many sages of his kingdom tried to persuade him to follow righteousness, but Vina declined their advice and went into hiding. The sages decided to appoint somebody else as the king, but had a problem finding a suitable option as Vina did not have a descendant. Hence, the sages searched all over, dragged Vina out from the place where he was hiding, and started to knead, mix, pound, squeeze, etc. him so that a son might be born out of his body. This is not the normal method of birth. Suddenly, a dark dwarf emerged when the left arm was needed, and it was called Nishida. No more evil was left in Vina's body since the entire evil came out as Nishida. Nishadas became hunters and fishermen. Their descendants are known as Tusharas and Tunduras. A powerful and righteous son named Prithu was born when Vina's right arm was needed for a son. Prithu was made the ruler of the kingdom. The changed Vina went to the banks of river Reva to perform tapasya. Prithu was married to Archi. This story tells us about human blood circulation, inflow and outflow of the heart, and the functions of the pulmonary parts, lungs of the human body. Blood is pumped by the heart throughout the cardiovascular system. Oxygenated blood leaves the heart through large arteries. The diameter of the arteries becomes smaller as the blood travels along these arteries and they become arterioles. These arterioles become capillaries and eventually venules, where deoxygenated blood passes through a network of veins traveling back to the heart. Till such time, arterioles, the king Vina rules well. Then comes the new religious teacher, absorption of carbon dioxide, and Vina becomes evil. All the deoxygenated blood carried to the heart has to be cleaned, and the sages do their part in cleaning it by kneading. The kneading function is done by the lungs. Vein is a blood vessel that carries the blood towards the heart. The vessel that carries away the blood from the heart is called artery. King Vina gets his name from the blood vessel vein, same way as the Apsara Menaka represents menarche. The superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava are the veins that carry deoxygenated blood from the upper part and lower part of the body into the heart's right atrium. Sage Atri refers to the atrium of the human heart. Sage Atri's son Anga, body, marries Sunita, Yama's daughter, and has a son Vina. Thus, it refers to the right atrium of the human heart where the vena cava joins. The blood moves into the right ventricle and is pumped into the lungs through the pulmonary artery, where it is oxygenated. The oxygenated blood moves into the left ventricle through the left atrium and is pumped out to other parts of the body through aorta. This process of blood circulation was discussed in the story of Vina in the Puranas. Nishida, sitting position, refers to the situation of lungs in a human body. Is the process by which the blood is oxygenated at the lungs. A picture of both lungs along with the nostril cord looks like the sitting position of a person. The lungs are a respiratory organ whose main function is to absorb or transport oxygen from the atmosphere into the bloodstream and expel carbon dioxide from the bloodstream into the atmosphere. This function or process is called gas exchange or respiratory system. The respiration occurs through a series of steps and many parts are involved like the nose, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, and bronchioles, etc. A network of alveoli is an enormous surface area for gas exchange to take place. A network of fine capillaries allows the transport of blood over these surfaces of alveoli. This network is envisaged by Vedic texts as the fishing or hunting nets of fishermen and hunters. Fishes grow, feed, and live in the water. Thus, fishing nets are for absorbing oxygen into the bloodstream. Birds fly over the sky. Thus, the hunters or hunting nets are for diffusing carbon dioxide into the air. Alveoli are filled with air and the oxygen from the air diffuses into the bloodstream. Carbon dioxide of the blood diffuses into the alveoli. Both exchanges happen through or across thin alveolar membranes. The Puranas term membranes as hunters and fishermen, the Tusharas and Tunduras. Blood becomes rich with oxygen and the impurities like carbon dioxide are removed. Pure blood is pumped into the arteries and supplied throughout the body. This artery is referred to as King Prithu's wife, Archi. The religious teacher or leader who came into Vina's life and changed it is known as Arhat or Arahat, who is called the god of Arhat. He is known as Aruhan in Tamil, which refers to Buddha or Siddhartha. According to the Tamil dictionary, Aruhan means peaceful person or quiet or composed person or worthy person. These are the nature or qualities attached to Buddha or Siddhartha. An unborn child, fetus, is also considered peaceful and quiet. Hence, Bhu is known as birth. But this peacefulness or quietness is opposite to the qualities of a human heart, which is constantly active and turbulent. Thus, the qualities of Vina must relate to activeness and turbulence, which is considered as his righteousness. Anything other than his activeness and turbulence is considered as against righteousness. Functions or group of functions or organs of the human body have been taken as the basis for gods in many religions. Hinduism has innumerable number of gods which are human organs. Thus, every human being on earth is a bundle of God himself. In the true spirit of religion, every person, God, should respect the other person, God, in true sense. Does it happen in real life? There is a fruit called Arhat fruit, and its botanical name is Serratia grosvenori. Its extract is sweeter than sugar, and it's used for medicinal purposes. Arugu, Arugampul, Grandi, Bhargavi, doggrass, Cynodon dactylon is a medicinal plant and useful for blood-related wounds. The process of gas exchange in the lungs is told in the form of another Puranic tale about Shyamala, wife of Yamadharma. Urmila, Shyamala's mother, was living in Mithila and had a son and daughter. She was very poor and moved to Avanti for employment and started working in a Brahmin's house. Urmila had to steal from a master's house to feed her children. Shyamala grew up beautiful, married to Yama, and proceeded to live in Yamaloka, Yama's home. Stealing from the Brahmin's house means or represents the absorption of carbon dioxide and other toxic substances from tissues and other cells. The place Avanti mentioned in Shyamala's story is brought in other stories which describe the functions of human fetal circulation. Other Puranic stories relating to the urinary and digestive system also refer to the place Avanti. At Yamaloka, Yama told Shyamala that she could roam anywhere in the house, but was forbidden from entering 7 specified rooms. That forbidden portion of Yama's house at Yamaloka is called Naraka or Hell. Shyamala was obedient for some time, but ultimately could not control her curiosity. She peeped into one of the rooms and found that her mother was being forced into a cauldron of boiling oil by Yamadutas, servants of Yama. Duttas, Tuda, in the word Yamadutas, also means royal messengers who used to travel to far-off places in different directions. Birds were also used to take messages by air. Shyamala also opened other rooms and found that her mother was being tortured in each of the rooms differently. In one room, she was crushed on a grindstone. In another room, nails were being driven into her head. And in yet another room, her mother was being torn to pieces by fierce dogs. Shyamala went crying to her husband about these ghastly sights. Yama replied that her mother had sinned terribly by stealing from the Brahmin's house, hence these tortures. Shyamala wanted to save her mother and begged Yama for mercy. Yama asked Shyamala to transfer all her punya, good deeds, to her mother so that she would be rescued from hell. Pun in Tamil means wound, which is not good for good health and is to be removed or healed. Shyamala did accordingly. This refers to the gas transfer in the lungs. Her mother was released and assigned a permanent place in heaven in a rejuvenated form. The rejuvenated form is the oxygenated blood. The story continues in the name of Prithu. Shyamala means dark and refers to blood with carbon dioxide and impurities. Yamadutas represent the network of fine capillaries around the alveoli, which is an enormous surface area where gas exchange takes place. Punya or Punnaga, calophyllum, inophyllum, lin. Calitris inophyllum, lin, is a medicinal plant which yields dark yellow oil. Prithu. Prithu is the name given for oxygenated blood, carbon dioxide removed, that is said to have been born after evil left the body of Vina. Prithu in Tamil means separated. Probably, it refers to the separation or sending away of carbon dioxide from the blood. Prithu is the powerful and righteous son who ruled the kingdom after Vina. Vedic stories mention that righteousness comes from the heart and not from the brain. Thus, the righteousness of the heart rules the universe, which is a healthy human body. Gas exchange takes place when the blood circulates through the heart and lungs. When blood comes out of the heart and proceeds to other parts of the body, it is oxygenated, bright, and healthy. Is it sufficient to have only healthy blood? No. The whole body, including heart and lungs, needs vitamins and nutrients. Where do they get it? The Puranic story of Prithu tells us. King Prithu, son of Vina, ruled his kingdom well. Human body filled with blood. And it was filled with food grain. The cows were full of milk, and his subjects were very happy. To glorify the king, yagna and sacrifices were carried out. There emerged two races called the Sutas and Magadha. The sages decreed that the two races should be tasked with singing praises to honor great kings and sages. The Sutas and Magadhas composed songs on the future deeds of King Prithu and started chanting his praises. This was relayed throughout the earth. Blood is pumped by the left ventricle of the heart through the aorta to the entire body. Thus, rhythmic contractions occur spontaneously in the heart. This rhythmic contraction is coordinated by the sinoatrial and atrioventricular nodes. The blood from the heart moves to peripheral blood vessels through the aorta and arteries, and a pressure wave is created by the rhythmic contractions of the heart. The term pulse refers to the throbbing of arteries from the heart's rhythmic contractions, which is called heart rate or heartbeat. The pulse can be felt at the neck, wrist, and many other places in the human body. These noises of beating and throbbing of the blood flow are referred to as the singing of praises. The heart rate is referred to as Magadha, and the pulse rate of arteries is referred to as Sutas. The velocity of blood flow or throbbing increases as the blood moves from larger arteries to smaller arteries and vessels. We can hear the differences in singing at different places. We can feel the pulse at many places. It's clearer in some. The songs are composed on the deeds of the king and sages. The pulses reflect the state of the cardiovascular system of the body. Certain diseases cause characteristic changes in the qualities of the pulse rates taken at different places. Pulses are manually palpated with the fingers or thumb. Magadhas, ma plus ga plus das. Ma means big or origin. Ga means go, and das means thala or beat. Thus, Magadhas means big thala, big drumming or beating. The pulses are known as nadi. Sutta nadi is one such classification in Tamil, and the term is used by Indian medical practitioners. Presently, Nadi Jyotisha is a kind of prediction methodology, just like astrology. Many claim that Nadi Jyotisha can predict the future in the same way as astrology. But Nadi Jyotisha is related to human pulses, and the predictions will relate to the present and future health of the human body. Today, the practitioners of Nadi Jyotisha do not measure pulses in the real sense, but embark on predictions that are totally misleading. Jyotisha, which is wrongly equated to astrology, is a clinical examination procedure employed by ancient medical practitioners such as Ayurvedic doctors. Texts relating to Nadi Jyotisha are to be thoroughly researched for better understanding and benefits. Once, the subjects of King Prithu, body tissues, came to the court of the king and complained that it was difficult to make a living on earth. They requested the king to select a place where they could live and farm for their subsistence. King Prithu decided to kill the earth, blood flow, since it was responsible for not yielding adequate food grain to his subjects. The earth was on the run, moving or flowing to all parts of the earth, human body, and the king followed it wherever it went. Finally, an agreement was arrived at between the earth and the king. The earth said that there was no point in killing it. The subjects would not get any food from the killing. Instead, the earth offered to adapt itself to being a cow that could be milked to feed the subjects. This was readily accepted by the king. Thus, the earth was milked to obtain food grain on which the subjects could live. The oxygenated blood is pumped by the heart into the blood vessels, first through the left ventricle, and then pumped out through the aorta, arteries, and arterioles to the systemic circulation. The oxygenated blood provides oxygen and nutrients and helps remove metabolic waste from all over the body. The arteriole capillary venule junctions compromise most of the area of the human vascular system and allow the transfer of vitamins and nutrients desperately needed for the better health while squeezing through the capillaries. This whole process of transfers is medically called the hemodynamic, which the Purana texts refer to as milking of the cow, known as earth.